Welcome everyone to the very first video of a new playlist called Tar Heel Red Storm Diary. I for a while entertained the thought about making a podcast focusing on two of my favorite teams in college basketball, and that is the North Carolina Tar Heels and the St. John's Red Storm. I said, I'm gonna do it on Spotify only, but I said, let me start off with video first and then see what happens from there. But these two teams, like I said, are my favorite teams in college basketball. And although I have a playlist called All About Sports, which I'll keep it there, but the more I thought about it, the more I said, for the North Carolina Tar Heels and the Red Storm, I gotta make something separate about that. Just like the way the Miami Hurricanes, I'm doing separate, I gotta do for this one as well. So the first thing I'm gonna talk about is yesterday's game, Wake Forest versus UNC, ACC showdown. North Carolina, they pretty much were in command in the first half. They squandered a big lead in the second half, but what helped them out a lot was the free throws. The Carolina Tar Heels, they won 87-84. Luka and Evans, they struggle in this game. Evans, as a point guard, I want to see more confidence in him. Sometimes I feel like he's playing timid, and I don't like using that word, but I want to see more aggression from him moving forward. Vasar, he had 25 points. Caleb Wilson had 22. Luka, man, he went scoreless. I was shocked when I saw this. He went absolutely scoring 0 points, 0 in this game. Like I said, free throws was a big part of this game for the Tar Heels. They made 20 of 30 free throws. Carolina, I would say in the first half, they played well defensively, but in like about 4 or 5 minutes, I should say. But defense could have been so much better in this game. Now the Tar Heels, they're 27-5 against Wake Forest when they're playing at the Dean Smith Center in Chapel Hill. And they've won 11 in a row in the building, and Tar Heels improved to 14-2 in the season. But yeah. Oh yeah, I can't forget. I feel like one of the unsung heroes for the Tar Heels in this game is Jaden Young. He scored 12 big points off the bench. That was huge. That was huge. And the Tar Heels, in order for them to be taken seriously and being this real legit elite team, aside from Caleb Wilson and Henry Vasar, they need other guys to step up. They need their bench guys to step up, and hopefully Jaden Young, who had the best game as a Tar Heel so far, hopefully this is the beginning of something that can, for him to continue to do so, because they need a lot of help from their supporting role. Well, that's that. Now let me go to the St. John's Red Storm. They absolutely picked up the par. Creighton Blue Jays in a Big East showdown. The Red Storm, they improved to 4-1 in the season. One of the players of the game, or I should say, he was an X factor for St. John's, and that is Dylan Darlin. After such a poor performance against Providence, he answered the bell against Creighton on the road. Dylan, Red Storm, they won 90-73. But Dylan, he scored 11 points on 4 of 7 shooting from the field, and he went 2 for 3 from downtown. And his contribution was a big part why the Red Storm, they finished the first half on a 34-11 run. When they made that run, the Blue Jays had no chance. They had no answer whatsoever. They did try to come back in the second half, but at that point, it was already too little too late. So the Red Storm, they were completely focused in this game. They had about, I believe, give me 1 minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They had 6 players in double figures. Lefteris, he has 17. Bryce Hopkins at 12. Ian Jackson, former Tar Heel, had 12. Isaiah Sellers, one of my favorite players in this team, 16 points, 6 rebounds. Zuby is going to be Zuby. He had 12 points. But for me, it was Dylan Darlin. Him knocking down those shots from the three-point line. And last year, that was a big problem for St. John's. They were not a good three-point shooting team, and that was not their MO. That was not part of their game plan. But hopefully this year, you know, especially with a guy like Dylan Darlin, he might be the X factor in terms of the long ball shooting. So I hope this game is a confidence booster for him. So, but yeah, great performance by him and by St. John's overall. They, like I said, they improved to 4-1 in the Big East Conference, and overall they're 11-5. So, great victory by St. John's, and they just have to keep going forward from there. Them and the Tar Heels. Well, guys, that does it for this very first video of Tar Heels Red Storm Diary with your one and only Miguel Mike Medina. Stay tuned for the next content. And like I said, it was about time. It was about time that I made this playlist, this podcast, and it's always exciting when you create something. It's always exciting when you take situations into your own hands, control what you can control. And this is just another one that is added to the list. So thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoy this content, and I'll see you guys on the next video. So stay tuned for Tar Heels Red Storm Diary.